Oh, hi everybody. This is Elena Zanfei. I'm a personal development coach, and I help women overcome their insecurities, their doubts, without spending a lot of money and time, so they can finally grasp the joy and the success that's meant for them. Today, I have the pleasure of having my associate here, a friend and colleague, Chris Poorten. And he is a wellness coach, a health and wellness coach. And he really has this belief that in order for us to bring our talents forward, we need to really get our health and our abundance in order. So what he does is he helps people achieve true health and abundance so they can share their true strengths and talents with the world. So Chris has been kind enough to join us today, and he's going to give us a little bit of his insights on how to control the controllable, especially during these crazy times that we are in right now. So hi, Chris, welcome. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, especially during these times that we've been going through the past, wow, 9-10 weeks or so.
It seems like months, right? Yeah, it
Just,
seems like forever.
when was the last time I saw a human being in person and just in general,
Yeah,
in public,
I
obviously?
exactly. I'm actually starting to like see people or having people over, but it's still social distancing,
Of course,
but not such an isolation because
of
I was
course.
actually listening to a webinar the other day, and they were talking about how, we're social beings. We really need to bond and connect with others. So the mere fact of being alone and separated actually is counterproductive to our immune system.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what, I need to be around people, obviously with caution, still social distancing, still wearing a mask if we're going to be in, close proximity, but just to kind of loosen that up a little bit and bring in more people into my life, because it's not good for anybody to be alone. Would you agree?
Without a doubt, and that's a good place to start there. I like you. I do a lot of personal development, podcasts, webinars, and um, one statement that stood out to me that I share all the time on social media with other similar people is the most important form of vitamin C is connection. It's
Yes,
it's limitless and free.
I
We
so agree.
inherently need our vitamin C from oranges, apples, and peaches and pears and all that good stuff. And even from my learning from the Institute for Intuitive Nutrition Health Coaching course, one of the main components was we can eat all the healthy foods we want, such as kale, broccoli, apples, oranges, fruits, vegetables, etc. But if our primary foods are not in check with our secondary foods, and by primary foods, what I'm referring to is our career, our relationships, our social life, our joy, exercise, and so forth. So that's kind of brings it all back together with what we're saying of how that vitamin C connection we really do. And it's something I've been personally thinking about over the past couple of weeks, and what you just said yourself is how inherently we need to stay safe. We need to do what we can to stay away from anything that would cause us harm. And there are many things that are out of our control. But at the same perspective, we are social beings.
Exactly.
We do need each other. We do need, even though we may miss hugs and we may have to wait for that or see when the best time we feel most comfortable with that is, we do need each other. And I will completely admit, and I'll be vulnerable for a moment, the first couple of weeks of what we've been currently going through was very tough. It was tough. I'm a small business owner. I love networking. I love hanging out at health food stores, coffee shops, and just meeting people, going to networking events with other business professionals. And the world in a sense shut down. So the first couple of weeks, I kind of eased my way into it, and I realized that, as I was listening to webinars and podcasts, the most important thing we can do is control the controllable.
Yes.
And that's kind of where one of the concepts that I initially talked to you about is uh, we, while we really can't control what goes on in the outside world, we can control, if we are around someone that has is coughing or whatever the situation is, what we can do is we can control our inputs. And by our inputs, I mean social media inputs, how much time we spend scrolling through social media, whether we watch the news, whether we TV, and even podcasts are all lots of podcasts are talking about what's going on, which is helpful. But I think one of the most important things to do, and this is very simple, is to listen to your body. As Dr. Mark Hyman says, our body is our first doctor.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, we've all eaten a bagel or a pizza or some foods that tasted really good in the moment. It tasted delicious. It just tasted really good going down. And maybe a half hour later, you're like, yeah, I'm tired. I gotta take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
So your body's telling you that your body might not have been able to metabolize that properly, and too much of this can cause an issue down the road.
Right.
From the same perspective of not necessarily just with foods, but if you find yourself scrolling through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even watching the news, and you feel like yourself getting anxious and almost like your breath has been taken away or life force, that your body's telling you to take a break. And just kind of find a safe space in the moment, find a space of peace. And that could be taking a walk. Or that could be going and putting a spirituality podcast on, putting a meditation podcast on, or it could be going the opposite direction and putting a comedy on, putting on Netflix and kind of turning your brain off from everything, all the other noise in the world, and just laugh. There's a lot of information and data showing the importance of
Laughter. Yeah.
Laughter for immunity.
Yeah.
And it feels really good in the moment. And when you're laughing, you do feel like nothing else is going on in the world. You just feel in the moment, and you might get a little ab workout from your laugh as well. So you kind of take through what it is as well with that.
And there's a real chemical, is it endorphins that are released when we laugh? I mean, it's actually a chemical process that goes on in the body that is beneficial for us. As a matter of fact, the other day, my father just passed away, so it's been really hard on me. And not last night, but the night before, I kind of was doing what you're proposing, Chris. I was just listening to my body. It's been really hard for me to get back into work. It's been really hard for me to get back to the grind. And I being a spiritual and personal development coach, I knew that I needed to just listen to my body and listen to what I needed, because it's so easy to go the opposite direction and get super busy and jump right into things so that we don't have to feel. And so I had the intuition. I knew that I was feeling so sad that I needed to put on a funny movie. And that's what I did. I looked on Netflix and I found something funny, because I knew that I needed to bring my energy up. I needed to show myself that there's still opportunity to be joyful and to be, happy. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Bring hope to yourself and to turn off the world in the way that you find possible for yourself. And for all of us, it's different. And I talk a lot about this, and videos I record, just taking walks and so forth. Our personal safe space or personal centered is different for all of us. Some people putting on music and doing 20 minutes of yoga. Some people, it could be sitting still and just meditating with no noise going on. But it's really important to find out what works best for you in the moment, in the time being. And I've noticed that even though it's almost a second nature to pick up my phone and like pull up a Facebook or Twitter, or Instagram, and just scroll. Mm-hmm. It's nice because maybe there's an opportunity from a business perspective where I'll open up Facebook and this person is looking for coaching regarding their health and well-being, or this person is looking for information about cutting out gluten or sugar, which is great for me because it's kind of my target market.
Yeah.
For a business opportunity, but I've been learning to draw my line. I'm like, okay, a couple of swipes and too much noise, while this person may have great intention with what they're saying, my body is not able to handle that right now.
Right.
So that's to kind of listen to that. And from the other perspective, from that perspective, you really can only control so much. It is important to know what's going on, but not to the perspective where your health and well-being will be not in jeopardy, but it could be detrimental, because you're just decreasing your immune system as you increase your stress, your worry, and so forth.
Right.
In addition to just being home and being still all the time, which is we need to, but we also need to find our balance of taking a drive around. For the
Right.
first probably 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, it was very low key. I was taking bike rides around home, taking walks and so forth. And then I realized that I need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see civilization.
Yeah.
The life is going on. So when I did take a drive around, I noticed that, wow, the world is moving forward. There are buildings that are completed that weren't completed 2 or 3 weeks ago when before I came into town.
Mm.
So that made it seem like life is going on and everything is going to be okay in the end. So
Just out of curiosity, is it thundering by you?
it is.
Oh my gosh, I was like, what is that noise? And it just dawned on me, it's thundering. Wow.
So we just got a bad thunderstorm. I mean, it's pretty nice like 2 hours ago, but it's just started storming pretty bad now.
I hear it. Wow. That's just so that I know what that noise is. It's like not anything you can control, but
no,
it's pretty loud. It's amazing.
And I do wish I could take a walk today, but that's not really in the cards, obviously. But it's an opportunity to find a space for oneself, and whether that be do personal development work, if that's what kind of light your fire, or to be still, listen to meditations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really all about where the person is and what their personal goals are, and what kind of where they are. And it is a healthy balance of, you and I are in, business owners, small business owners, we're looking to connect and grow, help support people. So it's a balance of taking a break for ourselves when needed, and also moving forward to when we know, okay, my body's ready for this, time to go, connect with people, but also find the balance of, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Right. Yeah. So, I totally agree with that. So it's like, and you were kind of giving some suggestions about what people could do. I think I think life is kind of like, should be the equivalent of a plate, right? We want a good variety of things. Course. We want a good variety of things in our lives, just like we want a good variety of things in our life. And so it does, there's time for work, there's time for play, there's time for exercise, there's time for socialization. And I think what I'm taking away from what you're saying is that it's important, especially now, to focus on making sure that we get all of that, because we're different, like everybody's different, right? And we usually have something that we kind of refer back to, or something that we go to as our go-to. And for some people, type A people, it's work, work, work. So to make sure that we get a balance of not only nutrients, not only our vitamins and our supplementation, but our diversity in how we set up our life and in the things that we allow in our lives, to make sure that we're intentional about bringing in joy and laughter, bringing in communion with other people, bringing in exercise, bringing in the quiet time, the meditation, the contemplation, and all of that, so that our life becomes rich and well-rounded.
Right. And at the same time, you've been in quote unquote isolation by yourself, family might be. So there is a space of, okay, it's tough, but you find your ways to cope and bring hope for oneself. And for me, I'll be completely honest, I've got a picture of my nephew who was 2 months old in the picture, and I find he's now 2.5. But you find ways to bring hope and joy to yourself in the moments, and things that give hope and will put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I'm on a couch where I sometimes do work, or just kind of relax in the moments. I will just take a picture, look at my nephew, I'm like, hey buddy, I love you. So it's to kind of just bring you back to center, to reality.
To reality, yeah.
Right, to home life, to family life, which is what's most important for all of us to really give hope in the moments that we are
Absolutely.
loved, our family loves us, and we do love the people around us. So it goes back to just different ways we can find out what's best for us. A lot of people will ask, well, what is the best exercise? What is the best diet? What is the best thing you can do for your health and well-being? And there's different answers to that. The best one answer is the best exercise is the one you do. I mean, granted,
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, the one you do, because if you sometimes you get stuck in thinking about, oh, what's about we can sit and swirl
right.
around in our brain and we never really get to it. So yeah, I agree. It's
Of course, and some people, I'm not a long distance runner. I can sprint pretty well. I love long distance bike riding, but I've never been a 5K type person. But I will happily go on a long walk, or I will happily, big lightning, or I will happily do some yoga. I will do some meditation. So it's what works out best for you and in your personal situation.
exactly.
So yeah, I don't want to say you have to do 20 minutes of yoga a day every 3 days. If that's not you, then it's like, I feel like it may seem like a good idea, but that's just not you.
Right, right,
You find out what works best for yourself and what you're going to stick with more than anything. And
right.
the same thing with the diet. Some people, it's better for them to go gluten-free. I've had a good experience with it, but if you don't need to, then why would I tell someone to do it if they're
Right.
totally fine with it? So it's the best exercise and the best mindfulness practice, I think, you probably agree with this, is the one that you do.
Exactly. Exactly. Tell me a little bit about your personal economy versus my economy. What did you mean by that?
Sure, great question. We, over the past month or so, and even just over time, the economy goes through ups and downs, whether that be the 2007, 2008 situation. I was in New Jersey, New York area after 9/11, so that was very troubling times. And many people will say, oh, I can't, the economy stinks. I can't find a job because the economy stinks, which may inherently be true. There are not, in certain situations like now, there may not be a lot of employers and people hiring because they're closing down. But from the other perspective is, what can you do to grow your own personal economy? I've been a personal development junkie for many years. I've read many books, and I've seen David Bach, who we might have seen, you probably saw the Rise 360 program a couple of weeks ago. And he said that there's a big difference between your own personal economy and,
Wow, it's getting close to you. Take shelter.
yeah, wowee.
Wowee is right.
And the overall economy. So what that basically means is, well, you can't control if someone hires you, putting lots of applications in. You can control what you do to build your own personal economy. And that could be something as simple as looking around your house or looking around your apartment or where you are there books that I can sell that I read 10 years ago, I'm not going to read again? Are there hobbies of yours, such as painting, writing, books, poetry, and so forth, that you'd be able to use as a form of extra form of income and just passion projects in a sense that you have? So there are many ways you can do it. If you enjoy helping people, you can become a life coach, a transformational coach like you or I, or you can join an industry like a health and wellness industry and help people support their own health and well-being, in addition to help grow their own personal economy and your economy as well. So it's a mind shift more than anything. Looking at, while we can't control what goes on in the world where viruses are, bacteria are, we can't control the things we do to support our personal health and well-being, like take walks, runs, exercise, vitamin supplements, etc. The same thing with our personal economy. We can find ways to support our personal economy, as I mentioned. Starting a business from home. There are many things you can do, whether it be eBay, books, etc., toys that you haven't used in a while that are in the attic. and different ways to do it. So I've been in the home business field for over 15 and a half years. It's been an awesome experience from a health perspective, in addition to my own personal economy. And it's very, very rewarding to make a positive difference in people's lives while growing my economy and those around me. As the Zig Ziglar saying, you can have everything you want in life if you help other people get what they want in life. So
Yeah. And
it's
I was just thinking as you were talking, you know, I know that some people might be focusing on economy, but other people may not need that. I mean, you know, there are people that are, you know, self-employed or they work for a corporation. But another way, as I'm listening to you speak, another way to look at personal economy is that the concept of giving back, the concept of being of service, it is, I believe, one of the most fundamental ways in which we enrich ourselves as a human being. I know that when we detract or distract from our own negative, fearful thoughts, and we focus on helping others in whatever way that we can, reaching out to others, writing a card, making a call, really finding ways for us to be of service, it accomplishes so much in both our heart and in our mind and in our spirit, because we are, you know, we're moving away from a problem, which is the way we might be perceiving things, and we're moving towards being of service. And being of service not only lights up others, it also lights up ourselves. So it's such a win-win. So that would be another way to, you know, improve our economy, not necessarily monetarily, but in terms of enriching ourselves as a human being.
Spiritual economy in a sense.
Spiritual economy, exactly. Yeah.
That's what you're describing. I've heard that even just if I walked in the streets and I see another person helping someone else
Yep.
walk across the street with a bag or whatever,
Anything.
in a normal situation, obviously, that my own serotonin levels will increase.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As well. So just that little thing like that can make a big difference. I'm a big music pure person. So if anyone's seen my Facebook, it's either health information, lyrics, jokes, or whatever. One of my favorite lines from Supertramp is, you know, so send a smile and show that you care.
Oh yeah.
And that could be, from that perspective, that could be as a physical smile to someone across the room, or it could be texting a friend, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm thinking about you. Let me know if I can do anything for you.
Exactly. And, you know, I think that we underestimate the power of a smile, the power of a hello, the power of I'm thinking about you. I mean, a lot of times we don't know what someone's going through in the moment, in that day. And I know that there's been times where I've just reached out to somebody and said, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you and I'm here. And they'll respond like, oh my God, I needed this right now. Thank you so much. You know, yeah. I remember learning years ago, and it stayed with me, that sometimes our smile might just be the best thing that person receives that day.
Right.
You know, and especially now with COVID, it takes the challenges that people face on a daily basis and just amplifies them so much. So for us to be a beacon of love and a beacon of joy and a beacon of kinship, it's so important. So I agree, just even smiling to someone, you know, like even sometimes when I'll go and take a walk and I've got my mask on and somebody's walking and I kind of distance myself a little bit more, I'll say, no offense, I'm wishing you a great day, I'm just taking precaution, you know, like just smile at them. And so they're like, oh yeah, it's good.
Wave.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
a couple of questions ago, you mentioned personal economy. It's an interesting world we're living in. We've gone through times in the past, and a lot of times you see people upset, understandably so, on Facebook, saying, you know, the overall economy is doing great, but mainstream is not doing well, which is true to a certain extent. And a lot of times, I can understand, but a lot of times if you take that from another perspective of, okay, it's understandable to be upset, and I appreciate that, but what can you do to not spend so much time concentrating on blaming and this, and this, and this person did this, which is understandable. But what can you do to support yourself in some way? And then it's not easy. I would never make it seem like it's easy to jump from 0 to 1,000 or 10,000 a month in whatever situation. But I think sometimes a switch in the mind, just kind of look at, okay, what can I do? Is there a friend I can share an idea, a business idea with that might be able to help me out?
Right.
Last night I was on Twitter and I met a guy that wanted to be his own boss. He wanted to do voiceover work, commercials and so forth. So I sent him I told him about Fiverr.com where he could utilize the services and
absolutely.
share.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, thank you so much. I never knew about this, but this could be a great opportunity for me to get started and share my skills and my knowledge.
Exactly.
There are many opportunities, and I think in a sense, ultimately, what's going on right now is weird. We're going to go through ups and downs emotionally, which is normal. But at the same time, we do need each other, and we do need to support one another in any way possible, from sharing business ideas, sharing ways that you want to build your own personal economy. Because I worked at gyms in the past, and before I moved to where I am now, I was working as a membership services representative. It was a cool experience, interesting atmosphere, but it's like, whoa, the person that was doing that job when I was in New Jersey 5 years ago has been out of work for 8 weeks or so, because they work in the front desk, they were doing sales there. So it is a change in times. Things are changing as they do in times, but there are so many ways to create and build your own personal economy using your personal skills and abilities, whether that be writing, coaching, painting, using your creativity and so forth. So really think about ways you want to build your own personal economy. I'm sure there'll be opportunities for people to connect with me in the future, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But just like you can control the controllable from your health perspective, we can do what we can to control the controllable from our personal economy perspective.
Absolutely. And this leads me to a question, and I didn't ask this up front, but just really quickly, how did you get into doing what you do?
Great question. I'll try and make it short but sweet in a sense. I've always loved helping people throughout my life. It's always come naturally for me. From 8th grade, accolades. I was always the caring person. You represent what I went to Catholic school, so you represent Jesus' mission and helping people, making positive difference. When I went to college, I originally wanted to go to school for social work and psychology. I still love social psychology, positive psychology especially, and realized that wasn't the exact path. In 2005, I was introduced to the health and wellness industry. I was looking for ways to make money aside from a regular job. I realized that the regular job wasn't fulfilling financially and emotionally. And I came across an opportunity to help people support their health and well-being. And through the process, I learned about the importance of supporting our health and well-being through foods, through supplementation, through a healthy lifestyle. And I began to experience my own personal wellness journey. I cut out gluten and sugar in late 2008, cut out most inflammatory foods in 2010. And I realized that, wow, our body is our most important asset.
Yeah.
And kind of bringing all that together, we realize this now with where we're currently going through in the world, is that we really can't control what goes on. Again, bring it back to the concept, but we can control what we do to support our overall health and well-being. So as a certified wellness coach for the past 15 years, it just comes naturally to work with people to find out their needs and their goals, find out where they are and what kind of support they're looking for to help them get to where they want to be in their wellness journey. Whether they're looking for guidance and support, cutting out gluten and sugar, which I've had a great experience with.
Yeah.
They're just looking for suggestions on supporting their immune system through these times. making a positive difference in people's lives just lights my heart. It's
Yeah.
it's what makes me jump and feel like I can do backflips. I don't think I could, but it's what like makes me just run and dance around and just say
Yeah.
I'm kind of living my
Your
uh,
passion.
my
Yeah.
passion.
It lights you up. Yeah.
Right.
So
And
who's your ideal, who would you say is your ideal client? Male,
great question.
female, young, old? What would you say?
Middle aged, say 22 to 44 year old women
Okay.
who I've
Well,
just
22 is not middle age, by the way.
good question, but people who are looking to really do well on their wellness journey.
Okay.
I connected with someone on Instagram who I shared with her that I've been gluten free for over 11 and a half years actually.
Wow.
She she said, well, do you think it's a good idea for people to be gluten free all the time? Everybody should. I'm like, not everybody,
Right.
and listen to your body. So really people that are looking to cut out gluten, sugar, and other inflammatory foods on their wellness journey, because it is overwhelming. I remember in
Yeah.
the beginning that I was overwhelmed with it, but it's important to do it the right way to support overall health and well-being.
Right. Right.
And like I said before, listen to your body.
Right.
If you feel funky after eating a certain food, yeah, it might be a good idea to see what we can do to switch that. But yeah,
Right.
as I mentioned, middle-aged women and men who are looking to support their health and well-being, especially
Okay.
from gluten and sugar sensitivity perspective.
Gotcha. Okay, great. So just kind of to wrap up, just any final thoughts, and then how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn a little more about what you do?
Sure. Thank you so much for your time.
Hmm.
I think hang tight. It's gonna mean it's been an interesting ride the past 10 weeks. Things are getting better in many areas from a opening up perspective. Do what you can to spend as much time outside. And that's not as not telling you what to do, but I've noticed that when I take walks outside, when I take bike rides, often I will put on music, my phone, just to kind of get my mood and my energy up. When I do that, that the world turns off.
Yeah.
There's no news, there's no quote unquote
Right.
live, whatever's
Right.
going on. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm driven by music, so I will be tempted to dance sometimes. Maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't. But find your space within yourself where you know that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Whether that's, again, looking at my, what was 3-year-old nephew, now 2.5, or whether that's dancing around, whether that's connecting with people, find the space within yourself that you realize everything's going to be okay. And to really utilize this time as an opportunity to think about, as things open up, as there's more opportunities to do what you'd love to do, go to concerts, comedy clubs, uh, art galleries, etc. How would you like your life to be as things start to get better and you have more opportunities to go to events?
Right.
I love concerts, and my dream summer might not happen this summer is to just spend it traveling, going to concerts. So from my perspective, I'm working on growing my own personal economy now. So when things get better, I'm able to travel more. That my time was used properly now.
Right.
And not that
Right.
there's an improper use, because I
Right.
don't want to demean that. But as things get better, where would you like to be? And come through this stronger than you were
Right.
economically, physically, socially, and spiritually.
Yeah. And we have the opportunity to do that. Exactly. Yeah.
But
By our own
find a balance
choices.
with it all, and obviously
Right.
you can see that.
Yeah. So, Chris, where can people learn a little more about you and what you do?
Sure. On Instagram, ROCKK, your health. On Facebook, my main Facebook page, personal page, which is where I share most of the health-related articles, information. You can feel free to add me as a friend, Chris, ChrisPoorten, Poorten. Those are the two main places that I hang out, and I also spend a good amount of time on LinkedIn as well. The same name, Chris Poorten, Poorten.
Awesome. Great. Well, I appreciate you. Any final words? Otherwise, this was a great conversation. I appreciate
Yes.
your your input.
And as the conversation ended, the thunder went away.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting. Just a final word, obviously. Thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome, and I wish the best for everyone to really, be the rock star in your own life and well-being. So that's kind of my personal motto, and I like to share that with people because we do have the ability to, be the rock star in our lives.
There you go. Great way to end the conversation. Be your own rock star. I love it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Chris. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you all real soon.
Sounds good.
All right.